Donatello's been around for the past 35 years. My pastas are the main things. Also, rack of lamb, seafood, it's very well known. We have different rooms, like this one here, it's the main dining room. My second floor, there are 2 private rooms, and there is also a patio as well upstairs. Sometimes when I'm bored, I go to the kitchen, I come out with a new recipe, and I pass that to my customers, and if they love it, that keep and stays. We are right in the downtown Toronto area, right close to Eaton Centre, close to the major hotels. VA's been doing a great job. I won't go anywhere else. I love it here. Join us for a nice cocktail. Join us on the patio. Join us for an experience for Italian culinary. You won't be disappointed.
Hey y'all, I'm Rudy Blair of Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, rudyblairmedia.com, and I am your host of Indie Fridays, the interviews with Rudy Blair, presented by Yonge-Dundas Square. Every year, Yonge-Dundas Square hosts a series of free concerts for 10 weeks in the summer, Indie Fridays, showcasing an array of performances from Canada's brightest artists. This year, Indie Fridays is going virtual for its 10th anniversary, but with a twist. Instead of live performances, I'm speaking with some of the best singer-songwriters from Toronto about themselves and the music they make, from a variety of musical genres that represent the sound of the city. Before we get started on today's interview, I want to give you an update on the Yonge-Dundas Square neighborhood. The downtown Yonge businesses are open and ready to help you with all of your needs. Whether you're looking for fresh haircuts or fresh flowers, meal kits or delicious takeout, the latest fashions or even home decor, find everything you want, all within a 10-minute walk of the heart of Toronto. Check out the link to the business map in the description below to begin your hashtag Young Local journey. The video you just saw is from one of those very businesses. We hope that you can show them some love the next time you're in the neighborhood, or of course online anytime. And I want to let you in on a Toronto music secret, and it's right across the road from the square. FRIAR'S Music Museum is reopening soon. Toronto's celebrated music history is now on permanent display in the free FRIAR'S Music Museum, with curation rotated twice a year by the downtown Yonge BIA. Located in a small dedicated area on the second floor inside the Yonge-Dundas flagship Shoppers Drug Mart, the FRIAR'S Music Museum is the only museum in the city that pays homage to Toronto's unique music history. You can follow them on Facebook at FRIAR'S Music Museum for updates. Today, I'll be speaking with Warner Music Canada's Toronto Brothers of Rock, Cosmo, Gianni, and Tali, known together as Ferraro, on their family music legacy and latest single, Fool's Paradise.
I'm standing on a ledge, been pushed right to the edge. Bad days and worse nights, I don't want to play nice.
Guys, it is great to see you and great to speak with you, especially after everything crazy going on. And the thing is, I always look forward to seeing you guys at least once a year, because which didn't happen this year was the Juno Awards, because I look so forward to the Warner Juno party. For folks who are listening to this whole interview on Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, rudyblairmedia.com. After the Junos are done, Warner Music, I have to say, has the best after party, and you guys are always performing there with Jim Cuddy, and it is actually the best performance, because you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what's going to be on stage, you don't know what music is coming out, you just know it's going to be a big party. I hated missing that, but I'm really happy to get a chance to talk to you guys. How you guys doing right now throughout all this?
We're doing okay. We were just as disappointed as you to miss that Juno weekend. It was supposed to be the last weekend of a 3-week tour we were on. So we showed up in Saskatoon on Wednesday and found out Thursday it was all canceled. So that was the last day of normalcy for us back in March. And things have been okay. We're staying busy. We're staying active, but it's definitely not a situation we're used to, or anyone's used to.
No, I don't think so at all. So, any of you guys feel free to jump in any of the questions I'm asking. So, but, we would have all had a chance, if the world was different, to sit down in front of each other, talk about the new single, Fool's Paradise, and congratulations on that. But like I said, the world has changed. What have you guys been doing during this time? I guess you could call it downtime, because, like I said, it's a different world right now.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we had some stuff saved up and kind of ready to go for this kind of time of not being able to play live shows. We were just coming off that tour, so we had some videos to release from that, and we have a whole bunch of new tunes recorded and just kind of waiting to release them. So we're slowly starting to do that and making some videos for them, and just trying to keep people interested and keep some content going while we're waiting to be able to get to play shows again. It's kind of the goal, just keep releasing things in the meantime.
Yeah, and it is downtime in the sense of we're not playing live shows that's sort of our main thing, playing in front of people. But I feel like we've kept this as busy now. We've been sending demos back and forth when we couldn't get together, and now that studios have opened back up, we've been back at it in the studio recording a few new songs. And yeah, it seems like we've done some of these live streaming concerts, which is sort of a new endeavor for a lot of musicians are trying to figure that out. And, you know, sometimes the quality isn't there. We're sort of all beginners at this, but the more we do this live streaming thing, because it's going to become more and more normal the longer this continues without live interaction in front of people. But through the computer, we're still learning to put on a good show, and so we've been busy.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to talk about, of course, your careers in the music in a second, though. But and thank goodness that we are in an age where we do have these kind of virtual platforms to have performances and being able to speak to each other, at least on screen, to see each other. But how much are you guys missing the actual live performances? I mean, you know, Cameron House, of course, being a staple point. Live performances happen at Yonge-Dundas Square, another staple point. How much are you guys missing actually being in that type of environment? And what do you think the difference is? I know what I feel like the difference is, but what do you think the difference is from those type of live performances we did before all this to what we're doing now, even with the drive-ins performances? What do you think the difference is?
Yeah, they're pretty wildly different, and it's obviously the audience being there and the energy. A live show, I think a good live show changes every night with the audience. If they're more into it, you can get away with different things, or if they're not quite into it, you might have to adapt differently to try to win them over, or that live aspect is exactly that. It's live, and it's unique, and it's new every night. With the streams, you're largely playing to a computer screen, and although maybe sometimes you see little hearts or comments or likes or thumbs up, it's not quite the same as seeing people and feeling that energy. And when you finish a song and it's cricket, no matter how many people are watching or liking, or it still feels kind of like he finished the song in front of a crowd and nobody clapped. It's tough to get over that emotionally and move on and keep a high energy up.
I feel bad for the stand-up comedians. Are they still doing shows? Telling jokes? Laughter?
Oh my goodness! I never even thought about that, man. That would be heartbreaking on those guys, though. But we are glad that you guys have a new summer single out, though, that, you know, keeps the momentum alive and keeping, you know, just people happy, because we still need those summer songs. Fool's Paradise, when was it actually written, and what was the basis of the song?
I believe we actually did the first incarnation of that song in 2017. So it's been a little while that we were sitting on it. We originally co-wrote it with Joel Stouffer of Dragonette. We worked on a version with him, and then kind of sat on it for a bit and decided we want to put some more work into it. So we got the Darcys involved, who was another Toronto band, and they added a lot to it and kind of put their producer touch on it, and we finally felt like it was at a point where we could go into the studio and record it, and we were happy with it. So yeah, it was kind of a bunch of different parties involved, and it was a lot of different versions to finally get it to the point where we were all happy. But I think we got there, and we're really happy with the finished product. It helps that we kind of had that time between writing it and releasing it. We were able to play it live a couple times and see what worked and what did. And I think that all kind of added to the final product. We're able to get it to a place that we're all happy, and I think it sounds great. We're happy with the product.
Why did you guys...
actual writing of it, the instrumental of it came pretty fast. So in the actual writing of it, like basically the first day we sat down to work on a song, we basically got the whole piano riff started it off, and the drum beat has been the same throughout. It's basically, we had the chorus, the hook line, Fool's Paradise, and we just had to fill in the rest of the lyrics around. We sort of went off this like one night of debauchery where you can get away from, the troubles that are the routine that's dragging you down, and just sort of a relief. And so there were several different incarnations of the lyrics to finally end up at the one we ended up with, but this is definitely the best product of the bunch.
I was going to ask, why did you guys sit on it for the length of time that you did, and why do you feel that it was the best time now to release it?
It was a bit of that process of we didn't quite feel it was right. We had most of it in the bare bones, but there was a little something missing. So originally we kind of wrote it and it was okay, but not great. So we left it for a little bit, and then we got a second win when the Starters got involved, and finally we got it to where we were happy and we recorded it. And then this whole thing happened. So with obviously the shutdown and then the big Black Lives Matter movement, there was a time where you're kind of thinking, is now the best time that the world needs the Ferraro song? Like maybe not. It was a bit of a difficult time where we sat and thought, what can we do, or what's the right song? But Fool's Paradise is kind of a bit about that temporary 3-minute fun release, where it's not a fix for the problem, but it's an escape for a few minutes of a little bit of a summer rock and roll jam.
There's a problem with switching up the different incarnations of the song, though, because that was back when we were still playing shows. So we would play it one version for a while, and then people started to sing along. And then the next time we would play it, we'd have different lyrics, and they're like, "Oh, I can't sing to it anymore." So I'm glad that it's finally out, and we're going to be sticking with this. So learn the lyrics, and you can sing along next time.
Well, we're definitely happy that you guys have done this too, because like I said, we need those summer songs, to keep us going, especially since, and this is what drives me crazy about what's going on this year. Weather-wise, this has probably been the best summer I have seen in a long time, and we can't go anywhere. It's like we can't do anything because we're really kind of locked up. It's like, this is ridiculous. But like I said, at least we got some great music to hear right now. So, but I want to talk a little about the career with you guys, because basically you grew up in the business. What was it like growing up in the business? And for folks who don't realize what I'm talking about, please explain, because really it goes from the parents right down to you guys.
So, growing up in the business is maybe not exactly how it went down. My mom and uncle started a venue in Toronto, a live music venue, the Cameron House, which is quite well known, at least in Toronto and most of Canada. But it wasn't until, we started picking up instruments in our early teens, Tally even younger, I guess. But it wasn't until maybe around 15, 16 where we started sniffing out the Cameron House and really getting involved and hanging out there and seeing what it is. That took this from kind of a hobby, jamming in the basement with your brothers, to a potential career and to a potential serious focus just the exposure to the musicianship and the musicians and live shows. Like, I think it's unique that the majority of our exposure to music is live shows, which is pretty unique for most people.
Yeah, and I guess that just having that access as well gave us an opportunity that a lot of people didn't have of being able to play live shows ourselves, like before a lot of bands get that opportunity to, and they're playing shows and kind of cutting our teeth that way, rather than, having to build up to a point where you can book your own show. Like, we kind of had early access to that, and I think that helped a lot with improving our live show. It's kind of something we've thought is a strong suit for us, is playing live, so that definitely helped in those early days.
I remember those early days. I remember seeing you guys before being signed to Warner Music Canada. What do you think made the difference from where you guys were before signing with Warner to after signing with Warner Music Canada?
There's a lot to it. Signing with a major record label was a huge benefit. There's definitely some pros and some cons. I think there's obviously access and resources and connections that they have that we couldn't have accessed on our own. But I think really the focus on songwriting and their idea and to push us into co-writes and give us a different perspective on writing songs and what each part of a song means and the importance of lyrics. I think like we said earlier, like live shows and fun, and we were doing a lot of covers. That was kind of our bread and butter. But really, the craft of songwriting has been elevated through a collaboration with Warner and other songwriters.
Yeah, I think it helped a lot our attention to detail of songwriting. Kind of before, the process was always just, Gianni would have a song, an acoustic version that he'd kind of just show us, and we'd all, add our parts to it, but not kind of dive into it much further than that, and just kind of start jamming it live and come up with a product that way. And now there's a lot more steps involved, and we kind of we focus a lot more on the little things that go into writing a song, and I think that's really elevated our songwriting. Working with different people has helped that for sure. We've worked with a lot of great songwriters, but it also just forces us to not necessarily pay more attention, but just we focus on the little details a lot more, whether it's a certain lyric or, the melody or whatever it is. But, just paying attention to those little things.
This goes back to what I was talking about earlier when we talked about the Warner Music Canada after party, Juno Award after party, because for folks who, of course, haven't had a chance to be part of this, it's an amazing thing because here you guys are playing with Jim Cuddy, who is the master. And then any artist can come up there. And what I always loved about those performances, and this goes back to what you just guys mentioned, is somebody who is into rock could go up there and you guys are performing rock. Then somebody who is into pop, and then you guys are performing with pop. Then it could be a reggae artist who goes up there, and then there's a reggae beat or something going on over there. Where did that diversity come from for you guys to be able to jump into whatever genre that isn't even planned, and you just do that? Is that because of being in the Toronto scene, because Toronto is so multicultural, or is it just a natural thing? How do you guys come up with this?
I think a lot of that goes back to us playing shows at the Cameron House. The Cameron is a big community of local musicians that play here, and a lot of the nights, if it's your band playing or if it's another band, we'll kind of end up with different artists coming on stage and guesting on a few songs. And I think that kind of carried over to that Warner party. The first one we did was in Ottawa a few years back now, and I think we didn't really know what to expect going into the night. We had an idea of a few of the artists that would be there, but there were no song requests or anything prepared. So we just kind of went into it being ready for anything. And I think those nights at the Cameron prepared us for that as much as they could.
just, being open to guests coming up and being prepared for whatever.
I was lucky enough to be there in Ottawa to see that, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And I remember seeing artists like just chomping at the bit, going, "Is that guy done? Can I get up there? Can I go?" Because, like I said, it was such an amazing performance. And again, it's one of those that will never be repeated. But you've got a great summer single out right now. Will an EP or album follow this?
Yes, we have an EP prepared, and I believe it is now scheduled to come out in January of 2021. And I think there'll be one or two more singles released leading up to that. But it's looking like January for our first full collective release.
Okay, well,
this will be our first Warner Music Canada release. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it because I'm crossing fingers that hopefully I can actually physically be there to see you guys performing. But in the meantime, though, like I said, we're still under COVID-19, even though we're in stage 3 as we speak. Will there be more virtual performances happening throughout this time?
Yeah, I think we will do a few of those. We're trying to be pretty selective, and right off the bat, when nobody knew what was going on, they were everybody had to learn this very quickly. And to be honest, I don't think many people did, us included, learn it great. We want to work on that a little bit, and we've been doing sort of mostly acoustic stripped down, but we're trying to work on getting really a full band, good sounding live stream. So we might take a minute to work on that, but I don't think we can keep from playing live for very long. So we'll come up with something.
Well, either way, I'm looking forward to it, and I understand exactly what you mean. Not knocking anybody, but I think some people kind of jumped into it too fast without really understanding the dynamics of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing. In the meantime, though, to see what you're doing or to hear what you're doing, social media is the place to go. Where do we go to follow you guys on whatever streaming platforms?
We're Ferraro on all the streaming platforms, on Spotify and Apple Music and Google Play. Instagram is Ferraro Band. Website is ferraromusic.com. And you can keep up to date on everything that we're doing on those platforms. And hopefully it won't be too long before we have some shows to announce.
Nice. Camera in house. But I'm looking forward to getting back there and hearing some great music. I'm just looking forward to see you guys performing live, whether it be at Yonge-Dundas Square or anywhere in Toronto or throughout Canada, because I've said this many times before, you guys are probably one of the best rock bands to come out of this city in the last 20 years. You guys are amazing performers. I never know what's going to happen because spontaneously you guys just do it, and you do it well. Congrats on your new single, and like I said, just looking forward to seeing everything you guys do in 2020, 2021, and beyond.
That's very kind, Rudy. Always look forward to talking to you, and hopefully seeing you next time.
Fingers are crossed. Look,
thanks
great talking to you guys. Be safe, and thanks again.
You too. Thanks, Rudy. See you later.
Bye. Bye. Thank you to the band Ferraro for appearing on Indie Fridays, the interviews with Rudy Blair, presented by Yonge-Dundas Square. Check out other upcoming interviews by following Yonge-Dundas Square on social media. Links to each Friday's interviews will be shared weekly. Next week's artist is someone I've nicknamed the godfather of Toronto indie music, Nelson Sabaro. And if you're still looking for more of Toronto's music scene, you should check out the Downtown Yonge BIA's Play the Park series. Great music still abounds the Downtown Yonge neighborhood. Play the Parks, though not in the literal parks at the moment, is streaming music on Tuesdays and Thursdays from the different businesses in the neighborhood. It's local artists performing pop-up shows in non-traditional spaces around the neighborhood. It continues to be a performance avenue for emerging Toronto artists and also introduces people to unique businesses in the community. To watch previous performances and for information on upcoming performances, go to www.downtownyonge.com and check out the event page. It's all linked in the description below. Thank you for listening to Indie Fridays, the interviews with Rudy Blair, presented by Yonge-Dundas Square. I'm your host, Rudy Blair. We'll see you on the flip side.